Hey everybody, sorry I was a little late today. Um, I will see who is here. May not be a ton of people because I didn't put a link or anything up. But I appreciate all of you guys who have signed in. I have some things to show you today. So, hey guys, welcome. So, I was a little late. I apologize. so, I wanted to show you a few things and tell you a few things, and we'll kind of see who's here, see who I can say hello to. Hey, Phyllis. Sorry about missing a week in there. Hey, Susan. I've missed you too. Hey, Beth. How are you? And Beth, I need to find out what you did to your ankle. I mean, your knee. Your knee. Hey, Melanie. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Deborah. Sorry again, I was late. I was hurrying. Had to stop upstairs and do something for Herschel. Hey, Rita. Hey, Sharon. Um, Boy, it's been wild lately. I hope you guys have been having a good summer. And I don't know how long it's been since I saw you. I'm thinking, I know it's been 3 weeks. I hope it hasn't been 4. I didn't look at the last video. Hey, Barbara. Um, because I know we have had a couple classes. Hey, Lori. So I know we had Kathy Haberman here. And then we had Susan, or maybe vice versa. I think we had Susan next. And then we had Summerhouse Stitchworks. Hey, Janice. Um, you broke it. Oh my gosh. Bless your heart. You broke your knee. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. I knew you were having troubles. I was hoping it was something that would heal on its own. That's Beth said she broke her knee. Wow. I hope it's healing okay. And I hope Gary's doing okay too. I know he had COVID. My father-in-law has COVID right now. He's 81, so we he's hanging in there. I think he's getting better. He's had it for about 5 days, and I think he's starting to feel better. Everett and I so far still have not had it that we know about. Hey, Barbara. So I hope you guys are all staying well. It seems like pretty much everybody's gotten COVID. A lot of people have gotten COVID. A few people I know haven't. Well, hey, Bernadette from Ireland. Wow. Let's see. You guys are 6 hours ahead, I think. So, are you up in the middle of the night? My goodness. Gary's doing better. Good, good. And you're healing. That's good, Beth. I'm glad to hear that. I am glad to hear it. So, I do want to know in comments, during or after the show, what you think about moving to Sunday night. I'm ambivalent. It might be a little easier on me for the next little while to do it on Sunday night, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know if your Sunday night's already booked or you've got stuff going on or you're already focused on the next week. Hey, Amy from Oklahoma. I don't know too many people from Oklahoma, Amy, that I know about, so that's cool. Welcome. Um, from Gray, Tennessee. Well, you're just across the hill, Teresa. But yeah, let me know what you think about Friday night versus Sunday night. I can do either. I got a little. We were working on something this past Friday, and it wasn't a good time to stop, so we had to keep going. So I apologize for that. Um, but yeah, I've had Susan here for a visit. She just came and hung out for a week, so maybe that's what I was thinking of with Susan, because her last class was in June, and I know I've talked to you since then. Sunday's okay, good. Sunday nights is good for you too, Melanie. Yeah, I wondered because I know people are rushing to get home from work and stuff on Friday and might have dinner plans and stuff, but um, so yeah, let me know. Sunday's probably good for me because at this time on the weekend we're either wore out from what we did or we stop and take a little break. Hey, Rita. Kathy. Okay. Um, so what did we do Friday? Um, we worked on the parking space for the handicap thing, which you guys might be getting bored with all these little details, but that's the one big thing that has to get done before we can get the power and stuff turned on is the handicap parking has to be done. and all the plumbing fixtures have to get set. So we've been working on those two things, and it took some. Everett bought this like dump trailer, which is like a big kind of trailer that you carry stuff in. It's a big one, but it has a pneumatic, like an automatic thing that lift it up so that it'll dump out its stuff. And he's wanted one since I've known him, and he finally bought one earlier this year. And so three of those trailer loadfuls of dirt he took over to the Baird house from our house, because we also have excavators at our house. I think I've mentioned that, taking dump truck loadfuls of dirt out from Alberta. Yay! You're watching a lightning storm in Temporary Island, 1 a.m. there. Wow, I bet that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I've been to Ireland, but I don't think I've been to Tipperary. Maybe I'd have to go back and look at it and think about it. I've driven all over Ireland one time. It was fun. There's a funny story about that. If Emily jumps on, we'll tell it because we were together when it happened. Hey, Patty. Um, and Sharon, Sundays are good. Okay. And so, we've been having dirt hauled off from our house too. So we have I think it's called a track hoe. It's a big excavator machine. And Everett used it. He uses it. I don't tell anybody. It belongs to those guys that are doing the thing, but he knows how to use it. So he's been moving dirt around here too. And anyway, he loaded his little trailer full 3 times and brought it out there. And then we had to get it unloaded, and then we had to smooth it out, and then we had to pack it down. That was fun. So we had a helper. My niece Megan was out there with us on Saturday helping us. We started that on Friday. And, well, first we had to dig a bunch of dirt out at the end of the ramp with our tractor, which I don't know how many of you guys saw that picture. So I posted a picture of Everett on the tractor. So he took the tractor over there on a trailer and unloaded it. And then he used the tractor to, dig some dirt and smooth some stuff down. And then he said he had to go put gas in it. I said, well, okay. And he goes, so I'll be back in a few minutes. I said, whoa, what do you mean? You're driving the tractor? He was like, well, how else am I going to get the gas in it? I said, well, I thought you would maybe bring a gas can over. He goes, well, I'm not going to load the tractor on the trailer to go across the street to put the gas in it. And it's not exactly across the street. It's maybe an eighth of a mile down the road. And it's a busy area. It's not like driving a tractor out here in the country where we live. Oh, Cindy's in Salem now. Yeah, Oregon. Hey, Peggy. Hey, Melanie. And so he hops on his little tractor, and he drives the tractor over to the gas station. And I happened to be coming back. I actually had to go somewhere. I think he sent me home to get something he forgot. You know how that goes. And so I was coming back, and I see him on the tractor at the gas station. So I whip in behind him, and he waves at me and goes ahead and pulls out into traffic. So I got a pretty good picture of him from behind him. I tried to take another one, but the sun was right on us, so I didn't get a good picture. But it was entertaining. I see lots of tractors on the road, but not there. I see them out here. I don't see them there in North Asheville. In fact, I can say that's probably the only tractor I've ever seen out there in North Asheville driving on the road. So that was fun. So anyway, it was a whole lot of stuff. And we got gravel. We had to go pick up a couple loads of gravel. And we got gravel put. We're ready to pour concrete at the foot of the ramp. But the handicap space, we still have a little more work to do before we can pour the concrete there. And the handicap parking has to be paved or concreted. And so we'll concrete it. And that makes sense, right? Because you want it to be smooth. And it looks really good, though. I think it's going to look great. But that was a lot of work, and mostly for him. And inside, we got a game plan together of what we're going to attack and how we're going to do it. The big issue on the inside is painting. Because, well, cleaning and painting. But cleaning, you know how to do cleaning. The painting is hard because there's one room, and then going up the stairs on the foyer where we really want to preserve the look of the wood. Because it was wallpapered before, and in Victorian times when you put up wallpaper, and I probably told you about this. Hey, Kendra. Hey, Shelly. They stretched across this like canvas or muslin, and they tacked it on either side to the wall. They wet it and it shrank up tight. And so then you had this tight cloth covering over the wood, and then they wallpapered on top of that. So that's how they wallpapered, because if they put wallpaper on the wood, as the wood contracts and expands naturally each season, as it gets more moist or dry, it would tear the wallpaper. And so any really old, you know, house that you see that's got wood walls, not plaster, but wood walls, which would be, 1800s or so here in the US, that's how they wallpapered. And so all those slats and the canvas is down, but I did find a little evidence of it. Hey, Kelly, watching from DC. Wow. Hey, Robbie. Yeah, Robbie, you didn't beat me in here by much. So I'm glad to see you online. I've been thinking about you. Um, and so, anyway, we're not going to wallpaper because it would just be chaos. There's no way to do it without redoing that method, and I'm not up for it. Um, so we're going to have to paint, and I want to preserve the wood a little bit. So picking the right stain and the right translucency level is harder than it sounds. Hey, Inherited Stitches. Hey, Barbara. Um, Good. I'm glad you found the live stream, and I'm sorry I didn't post the link for it. I was running behind from Colorado. Um, so anyway, I think we figured it out what to do trim wise and everything, because the trim around the windows is very dark. It's a chocolate paint, dark chocolatey color, which sounds pretty, but it looks dirty and old, and so it has to change, and it would be too dark for a retail space. So there's a lot of considerations for the shop, that we have to think about. Hey, Lilina. Hey, Sheila. That we have to think about in terms of retail space versus your house. Because in my house, I might leave a lot of that stuff, because I think it's beautiful. But in a retail space, you have to be able to see. So there's that. So we moved a bunch of shutters. The shutters for the house, when they moved that house, they moved it about 100 yards. They pre-built a foundation for it on brick piers, which means there were just columns of brick, and then they sat the house on that. But then they came back later, and I'm going to move the screen just a little bit. They came back later, and the inspectors made them close up through around the brick with concrete blocks. And that's what we just had a month or so ago, covered up in rock, or what is it called? Cultured rock. It looks beautiful. It looks like old stone, but they've made it out of concrete, I guess, or something, to look like this. And so it looks beautiful. It looks like old rock. And then we put the brick piers back. So it looks like it would have looked originally if they had used beautiful rock instead of concrete block. So, where was I going with that? Oh, so they moved the house there. And when they did that, I guess they took all the shutters off of it, and they put the shutters underneath the house in the dirt. And they laid there until the first guy that I had helping me when I was still living overseas, he lived here for a year, and he worked on the house for me. He found them underneath. And so they're made out of cedar. So the wood is good, because cedar is pest resistant. So there were really no bugs that bothered it. And it's water. Water doesn't damage it. It doesn't rot in water. Hey, Candy. So that part, they were in good shape, but they were really overgrown with like poison ivy. And they had all this old insulation, because at the same time, I think there must have been some part of the house that they tore out a bunch of insulation on it, and it was laying on a tarp, and the tarp actually is still under there with the insulation. I saw it when we were doing new insulation, but we didn't get it drug out, so we'll have to do that when it's drier, because it was really wet. So I think they threw it on top of this insulation, and I don't know if they thought they'd go back and get them, or they thought they were protecting them down there. I don't know what they thought was going on, but they laid down there for probably 15 years. And so a lot of them had been kind of cleaned up, and then there were probably 8 or 10 that were just covered in gunk of one sort or another. And so we had to move those out of the room I call the library, which is actually going to be the thread room. And I'm trying to think of a name from Alice in Wonderland for the thread room. So I'm thinking like down the rabbit hole or something like that. So if you guys come up with a cool name from Alice in Wonderland that would kind of have that feel about it, you walk into a room full of amazing silks and cottons and all kinds of other threads, let me know. Because I'm trying to get the name for that room settled. And so they were all in front of a window in there, the ones that had not been taken care of. And so we took those out, my niece Megan, and cleaned them off pretty good because we were going to store them with the others, which is kind of under the stairs going upstairs. Not, they're just kind of laying there. They're not like enclosed in anything. The cool thing was that we got to see the original color, which I knew was green because I grew up here. And I remember them being green, but I also knew it from pictures. And so the original color of all the trim on the house was a beautiful, like, I won't even say hunter green because it wasn't that dark. It was more of a Kelly green, I guess. It was a brighter kind of, not bright, but, beautiful, deep, beautiful green. Hey, Jill. Hey, Rosemary. And Sunday's good. Okay, well, that's great. And so anyway, Megan worked on one of those for like 45 minutes out in the sun. And it was covered in this ancient, furry poison ivy. I don't know if you've seen poison ivy where you guys are, where it grows out all of its hairs. And it just looks evil. And it is evil. And so it's this pretty thick. I mean, it can grow into like a tree limb kind of. And it had on these shutters. So we can't figure out, because there's no poison ivy under the house, obviously. So they must have been sitting outside somewhere and somebody else took them and put them under the house. That's the only thing we can figure, because some of those are in rougher shape than others. And this little group had poison ivy all over it. So it was hard because we didn't want to break the louvers on them, because they actually still work. They have a little stick on the back that you can shift the louvers up and down. And most of them still work. The only one that doesn't work is one that my handyman guy painted. And so he painted it to, I don't know, see if he could get the color right or something. And so that one won't move anymore, but, the others do move. And so we're going to try to salvage a lot of them, but we spent some time doing that. And we worked in the upstairs bathroom, and this is hey, Ronnie from Australia. Yay. So we, so a few weeks ago, we've had the bathroom downstairs. We've had the toilet hooked up and the sink. It's a utility sink right now, for a while. And we know how to turn the water on and off at the street. We have a tool for that. But I was going through some discussion with the water department, because they had it technically out of service because we weren't really using much water. And we were going to call them and tell them when we opened up the house, and they would turn it back on. And something happened and they turned it on, and they went and they charged me all the back fees, which was like $800 or something. And so I had talked to them about it, and they were like, oh yeah, we've got a note here. Sorry about that. We'll fix it. And they took the fees off and stuff. And I thought in the process of that happening that they had turned off the water again. And my husband said, well, don't turn it back on until we get the toilet upstairs set. I'll get to stitching, I promise. This is the last story I'll tell. And this is not really a funny story. And you can probably tell what's going to happen here. And I hope it won't be spectacular, but it'll be done with love. But I appreciate that candor. Furry tentacles of poison ivy. Yeah, that's what they look like. They're terrible. So it's probably too late to be working over there. This was Friday night, and it's probably 10:30 at night. And of course, the only light that we have there is from a long cord that we run to a power pole outside, temporary power pole. And we run it upstairs and we plug it into our work lights. There's no electricity in the house except what we plug into the temporary power pole. And so we're up there with the lights, and he's already put the toilet on its little spot, and he's got to connect the water things. Now, this is brand new plumbing. And so upstairs, when you get brand new plumbing, you've probably never seen it, but it comes into a little copper point, like where the water thing would come out, the pipe comes out, and it's just one piece of tubing that comes to a little copper point, if it's copper. And that's where the water comes in. But to get the water to come in, you have to cut off the end of that. It's like a glue bottle. So if you get a little squeezy glue bottle and it's got its point on it, you clip that point off and then you can squeeze the glue out. Well, it's a very similar concept with brand new water. You have to use a little cutting tool and you cut the end of that little copper thing off, and then the water comes out. And so you must make sure the water is turned off before you do this. Now, so for downstairs for like 3 weeks, there was no water that I knew of. I knew the toilet didn't flush. And if the toilet doesn't flush, there's no water. And so my husband said to me, "Are you sure there's no water?" And we had been talking about the whole water thing for weeks because he was the one that said to me, "Don't turn it on until we get this stuff upstairs done." And I said, "Well, there's no water in the toilet." And so he goes, "Well, go downstairs and find me a blah, 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 and a blah, blah, blah." And so I go back downstairs and I'm looking for something and I hear him yell my name. And I was like, and he goes, "I really need an adjustable wrench up here. And it would be awesome if you went up to the street and turned off the water." And I was like, holy cow. And so, I mean, you can imagine this is high pressure water because the town of Woodfin, where the shop is, for whatever reason, has really high pressure water. And so here I am kind of running, kind of hobbling, kind of skipping, I guess it looked like, out to the road with my big T-bar tool and getting the manhole cover off to turn off the water because my knee is hurt, so I can't really run. And, so I turn off the water and then I can't, hear him all the way back to the house. And so I hobble back to the house and I stand at the bottom and I yell. I was like, "Is it off?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think it's off now." And so I was like, oh gosh. So it was terrible. It was terrible. Anyway, so clearly the water had not been turned off. And bless his heart, he had sat there with his thumbs over the copper thing. There was just one that he had cut. It only took one to hold the water in. And he's covered in water. And fortunately, we'd already tiled the floor, so the floor is covered in water. But he had held his thumbs over the little copper tubing that he had already just cut so hard that it cut into his thumbs. And it was rough. And that's what he had sent me to find, was like some kind of file to file off the roughness on the inside, because apparently if you don't file down those burrs over time, those burrs like do something to your water supply, your pipes or something. So anyway, that was how we spent Friday night. It would have been better to be with you guys, I think. So yeah, it was clean water. That is the good thing. It was not sewer water. It was clean water. Oh, that would have been horrible if it had been the other water. So the story does get a little better. So we get what we need to get done up there, and we decide that we have the wrong little pipe thing that goes from the water cut off to the toilet. And so I go turn the water off again, and we leave it off. And then as we're packing up to go, I went down to the downstairs bathroom again, and I sat down with the lid closed on the potty, and I reached behind it and I turned the valve, and on came the water. And I went, that's not okay. Because my first question upstairs had been, how would the water be off to the toilet if the water is still on? And his response was, "I don't know. That's weird." And I thought it was weird too, because the only way that can happen is if the valve to the toilet was turned off. And the only way that can happen is if a human did it. And I knew I hadn't done it. And for weeks we've been talking about it, and he hadn't told me he had done it. And there's only one other person with a key, and I couldn't imagine why he would have done it. And if he had, he would have told me about it. And so at that point, I said, the valve to the toilet was off. I turned it on, and the water came on. And he goes, "Oh, yeah. I turned that off a few weeks ago because there was a stick in the back of it, and I was trying to get the stick out." And so I went, "Oh." And he goes, "I guess that makes it my fault." I said, "Nope, nobody's fault. We both should have checked. And I said, "Why was there a stick in the back of the toilet?" That was my gosh, why? How did a stick get in the back of the toilet? He was like, I don't know, with all the stuff I cut in here. I was like, you cut like 2 rooms away. So anyway, it was just a calamity of error. It was insane. But we got it all fixed the next day. It was all good. So that's the end of that. So we are moving along. We're still hoping to get ourselves situated and painted and finished. And I don't know if it's going to be spectacular. I think it's just going to look like an old house. But it'll have a lot of love in it. And I think over time, I think by the end of the first year, it'll look spectacular because we did decide that we're going to paint it blue. Hey, Sandra. We did decide to repaint the exterior. It has to get repainted anyway. I've never been happy with the color. I might have told you this before. But we decided on a blue, like a deep, beautiful blue. And with trim white and then an accent color, which we haven't concluded yet. So that's where we're going with that. But I think it'll be, and once the landscaping's done and all the exterior work is done, then I think it'll be, to me, I'll walk up and say, wow, that's what I wanted. So I think it'll take a year. But the inside should be pretty cool earlier. So I want to show you guys a few things that I've been stitching on. And I do want to talk about the Soiree. So maybe let me do that first. So all the classes for the Soiree are posted. They've been out there for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm going to try to get a newsletter out to everybody that's signed up for the Soiree tonight or tomorrow morning. Probably tomorrow morning. I might draft it tonight to let everybody know that they're out there. I know a number of you have signed up. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. We're finishing up some kitting, and then we'll start shipping that out, and you'll have it. And just to let you know again how the classes work, they'll be pre-recorded. That we'll make them available probably the week of the Soiree, maybe like the week preceding the Soiree, so that you have time to kind of get your feet under you and watch them a little bit. All of your supplies for the classes, along with your stash from the Soiree, will get shipped together at one time before the class. So we're hoping to get that out by the end of this month for sure. Plan, fingers crossed. I think we'll get there. That means we have to cut off sign up for the classes probably, well, clearly before we ship. So I want to get the newsletter out and just see, how many people sign up and kind of where people are with that, and a chance for a reminder before I cut everybody off. But if you sign up for classes, like if you're on tonight and you sign up for classes, shoot for the end of the month to get your sign-ups done if you haven't done it yet. And that's probably when I'm going to try to cut off sign-ups so I can start shipping, because I don't want to do 2 shippings. So there's some great pictures out there of things, of supplies and stuff. You've got some good choices. There are 4 optional classes. Black Work with Susan Greening Davis, Heart Anger with Susan Greening Davis, button weaving with Allie Dudley, and it's not your Dorset button, although it's probably a similar technique. It's actually, I think it's called the Evening Star. It's either the Evening Star or the Morning Star. It's really beautiful. And with the button weaving, you're going to get 3 buttons, and you've got 3 pieces, 3 different colors of thread, and you can just practice and play. And so, hair. I did get my hair cut, clearly not short enough. So you'll have a chance to play around with that. And the little rings that you use to weave the buttons, you can get those on your own if you wanted to do more. It's super easy. And then mine is banding with specialty stitches, and there'll be 8 to 10 specialty stitches, and we'll send you. I gave you lots of choices. So go out and take a look. There's several different bandings. I gave lots of choices. It does need to be on linen versus Aida for the specialty stitches, because those stitches have to be done on counted thread. But if you haven't done linen before, this is a great way to get used to it in a way. It's not cross stitch, but it'll get you used to the concept of looking at the linen threads and counting the linen threads. So it might be a great chance to shift over and just try it a little bit. Everything's really affordable for that stuff. So there you have it. You can go take a look at that, but I will also try to get a newsletter out. So that's Soiree. So I stitched a few things, couple finishes. a lot of things in progress. I don't see my little thing that I hold up to show you this stuff. So terrible presentation as per usual. I ordered some of those silks from Hand Dyed Silks by Vicki Clayton. And I wanted to see how they stitched. And I thought I ordered one for Merry Christmas from Blackbird Designs. And what I actually ordered was Happy Birthday. So it did happen to be right around my birthday. So by the way, I am 54 years old now. Yay, I made it. My parents didn't think I would. my parents, my dad, bless his heart, he was a postman, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And she had been a commercial seamstress, and had retired. And I was the fourth kid, and the fourth kid to go to college. And I just don't think they thought I was going to make it. And I went out of state. I was the only one to go out of state. And so, except for my brother, he went out of state, but he had a scholarship. He played football, college football. He had a full free ride at Furman University. And back in the 70s, because they were a lot older than me, 8 to 10 years older than me, 12 years older than me. So anyway, they bought life insurance because they thought for sure that I would get in an accident or something crazy would happen driving back and forth to school, and they wanted to make sure they had enough money to take care of me. So anyway, that was crazy. I didn't find that out till after I graduated. So here I am at 54. Yay. So, it was a happy birthday thing. And since it was on my birthday, and both of my parents have been gone for a while. My mom died when I was 22. She died from a brain cancer, but we think it was lung cancer. And my dad died, in 2011. So he's been gone 11 years. So I got to the top and I was like, I don't know what to put on there, because I wanted to keep it for a model in the shop. And so I didn't want to make it for a friend, because then I would have to give it to the friend, right? Which sounds bad, but I needed it for a model. I stitched so few things and get them done that I had to, think about that. And I just stitched it on a piece of scrap that I had. I knew it would be big enough. You can tell it's not really wide, but I don't need it to be really, I don't need a lot of extra margin. That's about an inch, which I knew it would be. I measured pretty careful, and I did start from the center. So anyway, I made it for myself. I put my dad's first and second initial for his names, which was Clarence Edward, and my mom's. She hated her middle name. It was Bell, which was her mother's first name, but it was Edna Bell, and she went by Edna, but she hated the middle name Bell, and she made me promise not to name a child after her. And it was my intent, if I had a girl, to name her Isabella. So I would have. But anyway, and I changed a little bit of the colors. The over one with the happy birthday, that was in a lighter color. And I know it looks a little bit stark, but I really didn't like the lighter colors on the trees. And clearly there's not great light on this. So I wanted that to stand out a little more. But I think that's the only color I changed. But I really enjoyed stitching with the silks. So I have to tell you, those silks were great. They're 6-stranded silks. And they are, they're not as fragile as like a Swaat Alger. They feel a little more sturdy to me. And they stitch beautifully. They've got quite a lot of shine. So this is Happy Birthday from Blackbird. And that's a finish, not a final finish. 20 years younger than you. Well, you made it to 71 today, Barbara. Happy birthday. Yay. Yay, happy birthday. I need to keep up better with people's birthdays. Well, happy birthday. And happy birthday to everybody that had a birthday this month. That's awesome. A bunch of little Leos. Scary. So, my mom's birthday was in August too. Her birthday was August the 18th. And my niece Megan, her birthday is coming up too. It's like the 23rd. Nephew was August the 5th. Lots of August birthdays. So, and my sisters are June, July, and then me, I'm in August. And then my brother is December. And my dad's was January. So, bunch of little summer babies. So yeah, Patty, I think they are really pretty. I enjoyed stitching with them. I'm going to show you them. I have them here. I'm pretty sure I've shown you this trick before, but if not, I will show it to you. So this was a deck of Harry Potter playing cards that I got. And you can look at the fronts, like some of them have, like that's an owl. There's one in here of, I think, Hagrid, if you like Harry Potter. They have a little coating on them, and so they hold up pretty well. And so I had these cards, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do with these cards? And I decided I would use them as thread keeps. So I punched a big hole in the card, and it was perfect for these hand-dyed by Vicky Clayton, because they come on these little white spools, and you can't really use them off the spool because there's no place to put the thread. It just gets cumbersome. And so I had taken them all off, or I was going to, and put them on thread cards, and I decided to put them on these, and then I was able to just pull the sticker off and stick the sticker on here. So that worked out really great. So probably these Vicky Clayton silks I'll probably leave like this. This is how much I had left from that. So each one of those little spools, I think, holds about 9 yards. It's about the same as DMC, like 8.7 yards. And this is what they look like. They're just really beautiful. They're very shiny. The camera's not picking up how silky looking they really are, but they're very silky looking. And they were a pleasure to use. And so I would recommend them. I like them. I wish I could carry them in the shop, but I don't think that she sells wholesale. I haven't really checked into it, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't. And I know you guys can get them quick and easy and fast from her. And that's probably good, because I'm going to run out of space in my thread room. That's the other problem, is having space in there. So that was one of my finishes. I want to show you something else I've been working on. So when Susan came to visit, and so when I have a designer that I'm hanging out with, either when Susan's the only person that's ever stayed at my house, because my house is a wreck. I'm just going to be honest. My stuff got moved here in 2015 when I went to St. Croix. I was away. And my husband went with his stepson, and they loaded up my house, and they moved my stuff here. The rest of it came in a pod, and they unpacked the pod. It's chaos. And so I got back home here in 2017, had a surgery, was out of commission for 3 months, opened the shop, and haven't stopped. And so I have not unpacked. So it's chaos. So I don't just let anybody come in here, because it's not what I want it to be. So we'll get there. But Susan came and stayed, and whenever I'm either, hanging out with a designer to stitch in or something, or they come to teach, or, in the rare event that we would be staying at the same place, either here or, if I go to visit somebody, which I've gotten to do that a few times. I've gotten to go visit a really good friend of mine, Barbara from Queenstown Samplers, Barbara Hudson. So the Queenstown collection is stunning if you love samplers. They're just beautiful. And she's done a few talks with us, and she's been at the shop before, and we've had her models. Anyway, go look at their stuff. It's just gorgeous. She's one of my good friends. I love her. As a person, I love her. But also, she's a fabulous designer. So, great taste. And very committed to the history around those samplers and the girls. So, she's a wonderful person to hear speak. So, whenever I'm with somebody, I try to work on something of theirs, right? Because that's just being nice. So I started one that I had of Susan's when she was here, and she was here for a week. And so I got pretty far with it. And I don't think I put these on the website, but I have them, and I'll get them put on tonight before I walk away. But it's a Markham sampler. And so it's called Helena's Story of the Ribbons. And we probably talked about this maybe on something else, but this on the front is a picture of the antique. Because you can see over here, there's some other stitching. And you can't see it too well in here, but on the chart, you'll see there's some white work up and down through here. This is a picture of the model on the back. And so this is what I started. And the red and green, that's what color the girls would stitch with. So Markham is an island, or it was an island. I think it might be connected now in Italy. And they stitched with these traditional red and green colors until they made their real ribbons, and then they would stitch those in black. And the real ribbons hung from a big hat, and so they hung down on the side of their head, and the ribbon part, the stitch part, would face in. And so you really didn't get to see it. And they would put the hat on and get it all fixed. It was a huge, massive hat. And they had a special bed set up. I'm looking for my water. Well, I thought I brought it down, but maybe I didn't. They had a special, like, pillow thing made to rest their head on so that they didn't crush their hat. And they would keep that hat on for like a week. So it was amazing. But this is an antique of the ribbons that she was practicing. Helena was, or I think Helena maybe is a made-up name, because we don't really know who stitched this, I think. But this is how far I got, and I've really been loving it. So I think I'm stitching on just a like kind of an off-white, like probably a Russian tea cake is probably what this is. And I've enjoyed it. There's a lot of fish on here because it was an island culture, and they did a lot of fishing. And so each of these ribbons was practice. And then when she got to be old enough to have her own hat, she would stitch them in black and put them on her own hat. And they were not allowed to be shared with members outside the family. So only people in that family could use those ribbon designs. And that was what was kind of neat about them. So I've got the book from Susan, and it's great. It's got everything charted in it. And she wrote a little fictional story. I'm going to show you a picture of the hat so that you could keep up. This is what one of the hats would look like. You see those black ribbons hanging down? So, and you see the two ribbons are different from each other. But this was a really beautiful antique that she was able to buy. I said Italy. I meant Holland. I said Italy, but I meant Holland. So this is in Holland. But this is a really beautiful antique that she was able to purchase from a friend of hers over there. Here's some more black ribbons I'm going to show you. These are all in the book. Oh, turn that around. So, those might be a little harder to see. That one's got a castle on it with a bridge, birds on the bottom. So really neat story. So anyway, I've enjoyed stitching this. Now, at the bottom of Susan, she stitched a black ribbon underneath here. You can't really see. She left it off the picture. She stitched a black one just to carry forward the whole tradition of the practice piece, the sampler. That's what they were. I don't know what I'll do. I know I have some other friends who finished it. I may just leave it with the red and green because it might just be really beautiful for Christmas. So Patty stitched Rosa Sugars by Hats with hand-dyed silks by Vicki Clayton. So for this one that I was stitching, this red and green Markham sampler, which to me it's just kind of meditative stitching because it's nothing crazy. There's no specialty stitches other than back stitch in here. It's just a beautiful pattern. And I'm on the 5th band, but I would not, and there's 9 bands, but I wouldn't say that I'm over halfway because the bands get bigger as they go further down. But I'm stitching with NPI 595 for the green, which doesn't look green there, but it is, and Cranberry from Classic Colorworks Silk. So this would also be really beautiful with the collard greens. When I started this, I didn't have the collard greens, so in stock. We do now. We got those back in stock in Hanks. So this is we do have Hanks of this cranberry. This is an NPI, but we do have the collard greens, or you can do the NPI, and the NPI is 545. I just picked colors that I thought looked like the red and green that were in the sampler. Now, I want to show you this bag. This is a Penelope's pocket bag, which I love. So, I don't know how to make bags. My friend Barbara made us some bags. I love mine. I carry it to retreats. that has Sassy Jack stitchery on it. But if you're ever looking for a treat, Penelope's Pocket does really nice bags. She's in the UK, so they have to get shipped, so they're a little more expensive, but really nice bags. Okay. So, I want to show you something else. And I'll post links under this that tell where you can get some of this stuff that I'm going to show you. Because I didn't have it readily available to me upstairs. But I'll post the links in the description for the video. But I ordered these paddles. Like cheese, charcuterie board, cheese board, paddle things. From a shop online on Etsy, I think. Just beautiful, beautiful quality. You can order one, and they come with different decorations on them. I'll show you something else that I got from the same people, but just beautiful quality, very affordable. So for this, I was going to use this either for cross stitch or punch needle. And so for cross stitch, you could flat finish something and then just put it on here. Kind of like, well, I'm sure you've seen everybody doing them, but Hands On Design is doing a fun little stitch along right now, and they've got a tombstone that's, you know, just flat. It's a little bit thicker board that's just flat. Oh, Lilina, did you finish it? Yay! And you framed it. So, Lilina, did you put your black band at the bottom, or did you? I think you might be the person that said that you didn't put the black band, that you did something different. I can't remember now, but anyway, did you put your black band on the bottom, or did you do something different? And Lilina's talking about the sampler. I was just showing the Markham sampler. So these are great, very affordable, a great way to display a cross stitch piece that's smaller. And as I mentioned, you can get different designs on here. The other thing you can do is you can just go to Hobby Lobby or some other, you know, home goods store, and you can buy a little cheese board. They'll be a little bit thicker, but you can get great deals on them sometimes. And that's a great way. You can, you know, paint it whatever color you want. You can kind of make it look distressed, and you can mount directly onto the board. And if you've got something seasonal that you wanted to do, or let's say you've got, you know, a bunch of little bee themed or summer themed things, you could even put like a Velcro on the back of your piece where you could change it out. So these will get stained probably. And I would love to finish some punch needle, but I haven't. But if I do, I'll use something like this to display it, or some cross stitch on them. So I'm really enjoying these, and I was really happy to get such a quality product for a reasonable price. So I will put a link on for those. The other thing, you're not going to be able to envision this until you go out to her website and see it. But I thought this was just a really great idea. So this is a... I hope I didn't show you guys this before. If I did, I apologize. If I did, tell me, I'll stop. This is a bicentennial themed, or a patriotic themed frame. And so the way this works is you paint the back side one color, and then you paint this one another color, and you put it on top. And then I think they had it with like a little, like strips of fabric hanging down here that were patriotic themed. And so it looked like a little beautiful little antiquish looking flag, which I thought was really pretty. The other thing you can do is you could hang your piece off of it. So you could actually make a little tab thing here and hang your work off of it. So I thought that was kind of cool too. And I will post a link for you to look at that, because the picture of it's beautiful, whether you decide to do it or not. And a couple other things. I think I've shown you this before. These two things come from the same person. So this is a thread winder, and this is what I actually used to wind the thread for Vicki Clayton's hand-dyed silk. Yeah, thank you, Lillian. I would love that. You did the black band. Okay, great. I'd like to see it. This, you can buy these in different lengths. I think I've talked to you about these before. But this I use all the time. And then we have a couple of them for the shop. My husband actually made me one where he just indented this for me from a thin piece of wood, so you could do that too. But when I ordered this, I ordered this stand, which has a little magnet thing right here, and it has these little nubby things. They're really like shelf holders, but they've got a little cover on them. And you can use it to hold up a chart, or you can use it to hold up like an iPad if you stitch from an iPad. Very sturdy. Really great. Great. Not super expensive. And I love it, and I use them, and I'll give you the link for that. I know he's gotten a lot of business because some of the floss tubers have talked about him. But a really, really nice product, and definitely worth the money. Okay. Now, I want to show you. And if you guys have any questions that you want to ask me, feel free to throw those in. I'll try to keep looking to see. So, I went to Christmas at Williamsburg a couple years ago. Actually, last year was when I went. I went once in 2016 with a couple good friends of mine. And that was when it was still with Annie's. And then I went last year when it's hosted by a new group of people. And I went because I wanted to do this particular design. And I want to tell you a little bit about it. I've got it all backwards in here, or I've got it upside down myself. So, do you remember the book Willing Hands that came out? And I'm drawing a blank on the designer, which is crazy, because I shouldn't be. She's very popular, and very well known. And she recently retired, but she came out of retirement to teach this class. Somebody will have to tell me, because I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on it. Betsy Morgan. Thank you, Kathy. So I appreciate that. I wanted to go to a class by Betsy Morgan because I had never done it. And so I went last year, and I took 2 classes from her. One is one of the classes on the cover of the book, the Elizabethan casket. The other one was one that she did in a magazine that has not been issued in a book yet. And it was called A Christmas Etui. And I had almost the whole thing stitched when I got there. And then I didn't finish it. There was no time in class to finish it. She really just kind of walked you through all the instructions, and you might have been able to finish like a needle book or something. But I wanted to show you the stitching for it because it's all done with Gloriana, so it's really pretty. Let me show you a picture first of what it looks like. Sorry, I've done something weird with my book. It's in some weird... It's not in the order it should be. Let's see. Let me get this picture out. Okay. So, this is what the etui looks like. A Christmas etui. And it actually came out in one of the magazines, she said, somewhere. I forgot what magazine. But, Designed for Inspiration. So, if you've got the older copies of Inspirations, you might see this in there. It never got issued in a separate chart or a book or anything, but it is in the Inspirations magazine. I forget which one. She doesn't say. It does say copyright 2013, so I would think it would be 2013 or so. She uses a lot of Gloriana, so there's that. But all the pieces are almost done. I've just got one more little box to finish, so I wanted to share it with you. So it's stitched on this white linen. And you can see how pretty all the different colors of the threads are here. And the little birdies, I did change the colors of those little birdies. I think the bird and the tree, I forget what they make. One of them's a needle book. One of them's a scissor fob. You can see here with that big square, that is the top of the box. It has a hole in it there for the little drawstring tab that will pull it up and down that kind of holds it together. There's some really beautiful Bargello, which I changed the colors in that. This has a lot of white in it, but I didn't feel like the white really stood out on this white. And so I changed some of the white. So where my name is, and it says 21, which is the year I started it, I'll finish it this year. It's almost done. Those berries were supposed to be white for mistletoe, and I didn't like it in white. It just didn't look good. I took those out a couple times. Here's the other pieces of it. So you can see I just have one empty box that I need to finish. And so you've got different thread. Like this is a little bit of heart anger. Not really. It's not really pulled heart anger, but it is heart anger. There's one more box that goes in the middle here. And then this box here, I think is just, I think it's just some leaves around the edge. And then everything is outlined with, she used pearl cotton, but I used a linen thread. And I sent her a note and asked her if I could do that. And she said, yeah, of course. This one is a really pretty box. And then the partridge there, that's really pretty, I think. So sometime over the last week or so, I didn't have my normal stuff up there where I stitch. And this was up there, and so I pulled it up and I started working on it again. But I worked on this a little bit. And you can see how the Gloriana changes colors. It's really pretty. Now, when I did the satin stitch, and this is what I do anytime I'm doing satin stitch, almost every time I'm doing satin stitch, I go over it twice. So it gives it, I mean, you can tell, you can still see some of the threads there. Oh, you can see, I haven't finished this one, so this is where I stopped stitching. But I go over every thread twice when I'm doing satin stitch. And also it looks like I still have some eyelets to do. So the difference in a regular eyelet and an Algerian eyelet hits every other thread. A regular eyelet, and those have boxes around them, so they look kind of weird. But a regular eyelet hits every single thread going around, and so it makes a square. Those squares then have boxes around them because that's what she called for. The Algerian eyelets you can see here, here. Those between the flowers, those are Algerian eyelets. And you see how they just hit every other thread to make the eye. And the other thing, when you're doing an eyelet, you want to go from the outside to the inside. So you're always like, you think of it like you're diving into the pool, or going into the tummy. So you bring your needle up on the outside, and then you plunge it down into the pool in the middle. And that makes you tug it just a little bit on the downside, as you're coming back up, I guess is kind of what I'd say. You want to pull it just a little bit, as you're kind of coming back up. So, those are the two things I can tell you about that. I don't think there's any major specialty stitches on here, but thank you. I think it's pretty. I think it'll be really pretty when it's done, just to give you a reminder of what it will look like. Not the best picture, but. And so you lift the lid up and the sides fall open. And so that's how the etui works. And these little guys fit inside the etui. So that's one thing that I was working on. And hopefully we'll have finished very shortly and not very long. Thank you. The other thing that I really want to get done before September, because, you know, we had Jackie Duplessis here to teach. And if you have any interest in her classes, we do have a few spots still open, just a few open for March. We're going to be opening up a whole new set for October next year. So you'll have a chance for October too. We only have a few spots open for the classes in March, but we're doing something really neat. So if you're local enough to come over, even if you don't want to take a Jackie class, this is a chance for you to really get an idea of who she is and how she teaches. And she does amazing finishing. She also does beautiful designing. So her designs, most of them are all original. She's got a couple right now that are reproductions of samplers, but most of her stuff is inspired by, you know, something that she's seen. So they're not like samplers, they're actual smalls. And so the classes are pretty in-depth on how to put the smalls together and the finishing. And it's like her mind is amazing, because it's like she's excellent at the engineering and the putting it together down to which stitch to use where. and she's also really excellent at the design. And the design, so the design of how it goes together, the construction of putting it together, and the artistic beauty part of the design all come together in her work. And so it's really fun. It's challenging. Not the stitching's not hard. It's just following how to get through it all. But it's invigorating because it's a good challenge, So it's not something that you finish in a weekend. It's something that you might take a few months to finish. But it's just amazing. And I'm going to show you part of the one that it was the last class that we did here this year. And it was the one she told me not to do first, because I'm going to see her again in September at Salty Yarns, and I wanted to have it one done. And she goes, oh, don't do it's called Behold Thy Beauty. Don't do that one. It's all over one. It'll take you forever. And so, of course, that was the one I was stitching on the last day. Redhead that I am. That's the one I kept with. And so I actually have learned to enjoy the everyone. I usually don't like everyone, but I've actually really been enjoying it. And I'm hoping to have it not just finished stitching, but maybe completely put together by the time I see her in September. We will see, right? Because so many other things going on, so who knows. But I want to show it to you. But when she comes in March, we're doing something really fun. So we're doing the 3 classes or 4 classes, but we're also doing a Saturday that's called a fun day. And so what that means, and we'll get more information out there to you, they're all little small make and takes. Make and take. So you literally can make it there with her in the room and then walk out with it done in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's really unusual, but she's done it before. And we're really excited. And it's all going to be around a theme for Sassy Jacks. And so we're really excited about it. There'll be some new stuff coming out there. And what you will get to do for that is you just have to reserve a slot. So when we have them all figured out and how long they're going to take and stuff, we'll open up the sign up, and there will be enough spaces for anybody who wants to come. So you don't have to worry about that. And so you can come up for the day. If you're taking a class with us, you can stay. You can come up for the day. You can shop, whatever, and then you can go in and take your make and take on that Saturday and sit in there and finish it up and then head out when you're done. It'll give you a little bit of a chance to see kind of how she works, and it'll give you a chance to walk out with something that's finished. And they're all smalls, and they're just going to be really fun and beautiful. So I'm pretty excited about that. Interested in the March class, where are they listed? They are where I don't think they're listed yet, Peg, because she hasn't given me the prices, which leads you to ask, how are they full? I think we sent out, I don't remember if I listed them or not. I don't think I did, because I don't have the prices yet. So people are paying deposits. So even though I think they're almost full, and it was people who attended class this last time, I think that slots will open up. And so the ones, when they do get full, I'll open them up and I'll take a waiting list. And as those other people say, oh, yeah, that's not going to work for me, then we'll pull off the waiting list. I think that's why I haven't published them yet, is because I don't have the final prices. Because everything went up from the last time. Some of these classes are what we were supposed to do this October, which we canceled. So some of the prices went up from the October ones. So if you want to see what we're doing, you can go out. I think on the website it's still listed our October classes. I don't think I've pulled those down, and you'll get to see what they were, and you can kind of see what a price range was, but some of them will be more because the materials went up in the last year. And so that's what I'm waiting for. So if you see one out there that you want to take, then send me a note and I'll get you on the list. And there are spots open in some of them, and some of them will open up. So don't let it discourage you. So yeah, go take a look at the website for the October 2022. And 3 of those are ones that are coming in March. And then we added an extra one, I think, is what we did. And the extra one is it's a Bargello class. It's called Victoria's Box. And I'm pretty sure it's Bargello, Victoria's Treasure. No, it's not Bargello. It looks like, I think it's like black work, kind of. I don't think there's a picture of that one out there, but I will get a picture posted for you. If you are in the, okay, so here's a little insiders thing. If you want to see pictures of this is where I posted it. you can go and request to be in a group called Sassafras School of Stitchery. And I will put a link for that in the description of this video. Sassafras School of Stitchery. And that's where I posted all of the pictures and all the information. I knew I'd posted it somewhere. In that particular Facebook group, it's on Facebook. And we'll probably put one out for Instagram too. But we've kind of reserved that for these classes and stuff. And I think we might have some of Susan's stuff in there too. So go take a look at that. And if you're not in that group, ask me and I'll put you in there. And then you can see them all. They're all in there. Sorry about that. I rambled for a long time. I figured it out though. So wanted to show you. So I wanted to tell you about the make and take. So that's coming. And we will open all that stuff up to everybody. I know Jackie, I think she was hoping to have prices sometime in the first half of this month. So it should be anytime. This is called Behold Thy Beauty. And this is the one that I've been working on that I want to show you the work. And you can't really see too well, but that little box there is actually a purse. And it's an accordion style purse. And so it kind of squeezes and opens like an accordion. And I do remember, I think I showed you guys this before. This was my paper model. When I taped it all together, it stopped folding. But each of these little lines is a fold. And so it folds up and so it squeezes down to this little box shape that you see here. Now, when you open it up, you open the lid of the box, you have, I want to show you some of the other parts of it. So on the inside, you have a place to, I don't know if you can see that. That's the inside part of the lid with those two little straps on it. So they're there to hold tools. So that's the inside of the lid. And on the, this is a better picture of the inside of the purse. So this is the kind of detail. So you see it has a little wooden thing there to keep the lid of the purse. And then it has that beautiful silk that makes the inside of the purse. And then on this other page, you can see kind of the lid, the inside of the lid there. And you see that beautiful rosette there. I think that's the bottom of it. And so and this is a picture of it here at the bottom. You see that picture? That's what it looks like. Kind of. That's a better picture than just looking at it from the lid. And she originally taught that in Williamsburg. That's why it has that Williamsburg mother of pearl. So I want to show you the pieces that I have done. This is not finished yet, but these are Smyrna crosses, and they just go around the edge of the lid, and they're tiny, so they're over 2. This particular linen is called sandstone, and it's very easy to stitch over 1. And so all of these, I'll hold them up together so you can see the back. These are the 2 little tulle straps stitched over 1. So just sweet little delicate flowers there. And Jackie's work has tons and tons of flowers. This is a scissor fob over 1. I know those of you like Peg who know me are like, what? Over 1? I hate over 1. Not so much anymore. Now, this is a trick that I used on the center part of that flower. When I did it a full cross stitch over 1, it looked terrible. It looked really cramped up in there. And so I took it out and I did a tent stitch. And I think there's 2 colors. Yeah. Or maybe it's just an overdyed. But I did a tent stitch inside. I did a full cross everywhere else, but actually inside that flower I did a tent stitch. I forget what that goes to. That's another piece of it. And then this is the little flower medallion thing that you saw. This one's more like violet colors. I'm trying to get a good light on it. It's just not showing up too well. So really for this one, what I have left to finish is this guy. It has to be 10.5 inches long. And so I stitched for a day with a friend of mine. And I think I got like maybe 3 inches done. But I was talking a lot. So what I really have left to do is this. Which, I know. It's like, you're like, that's a lot. It is a lot. But I've enjoyed it so much that I think it's going to go pretty quick, and then put it together. So I think, fingers crossed, that I might be able to do it. So hang with me. I'll keep you updated. Um, so, are any of you doing the hands-on design? Where will they be held? Okay, good question, Linda. So right now we have them at the Fairfield Inn in Weaverville. Um, because we don't have our classroom building built. That's something else I have to tell you about. So, and if you guys are tired of listening to me ramble on, just let me know. We're over an hour now. I'm sorry. I probably spent 20 minutes telling you about the water fiasco. I apologize. Oh, and I was late. So, um, the Fairfield Inn in Weaverville have been really good to us. It's a Marriott chain, and we have a great classroom space there. That lighting is excellent. It's really, really good. We have seminar style tables, so they're long, narrow tables, and two people at a table. So we thank you, Barbara. So I'm surprised you want to spend your birthday this way, but I appreciate you. Um, well, I spent my birthday stitching with a friend. That's what I did. Um, so they're really good to us, and we are able to cater in food there from Publix just across the street, who does really great food. And there's lots of restaurants nearby. So we'll keep doing it there until we get our classroom finished. We're not going to start it until we get into the house and get everything rolling along there. But I went out there's a yarn shop here called Fiber and Friends. And when Susan was here, we went to the yarn shop so I could show it to her. I might have told you about this too. I forget. And I tell a lot of stories. So I forget. I'm like my husband now. He's terrible for that. So we went to this yarn shop. Yarn shop. They are a yarn shop. They used to do a lot of rug hooking and stuff too. But anyway, they moved. And she built her new shop on her family's farm. Kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but in the same town. But she built it exactly the way I had in mind to build our classroom building. Had no idea. Just wanted to show Susan something else, around town. And I love their, shop. Even though I don't know how to knit, I go out there because I like them and I like to see what they've got going on. And she's very involved in the fiber community. She sponsors the Southern Appalachian Fiber Fair every year. So she's very involved in the community. And so I always try to support people like that. And they try to support me too, and I appreciate that. It was great. I took Everett out there like the following weekend, and we were able to, kind of walk out the dimensions of that metal building. She used a metal building, and figure out what ours would look like and what we can do with the space. And then when Jackie Duplessis was here, she said something to me that, more than one thing, but the thing that resonated with me relative to that was that we should put the classroom building to the back of the space that we have open, and keep the center part for parking and events and stuff. So that's what we decided to do. So I think we'll kick that off really soon. This may be more than you want to know, but I have a few rental properties here. So when I was leaving the corporate world, I'm an accountant by trade, which I think most of you know that, but I am a CPA. I still have my license. I'm a CPA, and I was a corporate controller, international controller, and by definition, most accountants hate the stock market. We don't like anything we can't control. I don't try to control my husband, but I know he knows how to be a good boy. But in terms of money, I can't stand to lose money like that. It just is not in my nature. I just cannot do it. And so when I decided to leave the corporate world, shortly before that, around when I was single again, actually is when I did it. So when I became single again, I was 42, and I pulled my money out of the market and put it into rental properties here in my hometown because I knew I wanted to move home eventually, and that's where I wanted to, invest my hard work at. And anything that I had money-wise came from my work efforts. And so I moved it here into rental properties. So I have a few rental properties. And I'm getting ready to sell one of those so that I can build the classroom building. And so I've told my tenant last year, because he's a really good guy. All my tenants are good people. And they've all been there the whole time, which is great. And I don't charge crazy rent, which is probably one reason they stay. Um, but I told him last year that, um, we were probably going to sell that house. And I told him what I was going to do with the money and blah, blah, blah. And so anyway, this week I picked up the rent from him. I met him and he said, dare I ask how the Barrett house is going? Because he knows I'm not going to start the classroom building until I finish the house. I said, well, we're getting pretty close. We're in a couple of months. And I told him, by the end of October, probably he would need to move out. And he says, well, I want to buy it. I said, well, okay. So I think we got that solved, because he's had a year to think about it. And, anyway, I think we'll work out the details, and that's where the money will come from. It's just coming from one pocket to another. I don't like to finance anything anymore if I don't have to. And since I don't have a regular job, that's kind of hard to do. When you work for yourself, it's not that easy to do anymore. So it just makes sense for me to let go one of the rentals, especially if it's going to somebody who wants it, and put that money in the classroom building. So it's all coming together. So I know I don't show a lot of progress a lot of times. Hey, Kathy. But it is all coming together, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the background. So, Kathy, I've been using that sugar scrub that you gave me. It's been really neat. I like it. So thank you for that. And thank you for the other gift you sent to me in the mail, the loan. I appreciate that. So I think, within a year, I talked to the woman at Fiber and Friends, and their building went up pretty quick. It took them 2 months to get all the approvals, and then it went up pretty quick. Theirs is a lot bigger than ours. So I think, it might be at most a 6-month term, which is fantastic given where we are at the Barrett house. So we'll be excited about that. Hey, Joanne. So, I would love to get it started this year and finish it up in the spring next year. So we'll see. Oh, thank you, Kathy. You're so sweet. I appreciate that. We'll see. So getting pretty excited about things. And Everett and I are getting our energy back. We just got pretty wore down with all that stuff for a while. But now that we're getting close to the end, it's all coming together. So I'm pretty excited about that. I had something else I was going to share with you. Oh, so I talked to you one time about Kai scissors when I was talking to you about the, I forgot the name of the other ones, but you guys know which ones I'm talking about that everybody loves. And I do like mine. They cut well, but I thought they were too expensive. This is a pair of curved Kai. Really inexpensive, relatively speaking. They're also Japanese scissor. They're really lightweight. Plastic handles, stainless steel blade. I got these in the shop, is why I'm showing them to you. So I got them both in the curved and the straight blade. And so if you want to try them out, we've got them listed in the shop now. I think you'll like that. We ordered in new linens, so I've got an order out to Fox and Rabbit, which I know they're traveling here in the States right now. I've ordered more of the new colors and a few other things to restock from Access Commodities, which supplies us our Soiree Alger. I watched a new floss tuber that Jackie recommended, and her name is Katie Strachan. I think it's how you say her last name. And she took Trish Newen's casket class, and then just it opened her world. And so she's been doing all kinds of hand embroidery and making boxes and using threads that we would not normally think of for cross stitch, like the Goblin, the Soie Goblin, which is a different kind of silk. It's also from Soie Alger, so it comes from Access Commodities, which is why I just thought about it. So I will put a link to her floss tube too. She's another ginger, another redhead. But she's just been doing some really fun, amazing things. Yeah, so Peg's been watching her. Hey, Ruthie. Gosh, I haven't seen you online in a while. It's good to see you too. Kohana, you're correct. Kohana was the other one. So, you might enjoy watching Katie just because she's inspirational. She's got a really good tutorial out there on making a casket, like, and a casket just means a box. Making a box, a fabric covered box. And I know she used one of Jacob DeGroff's designs to do one. So if you might like to do that. I'm actually gonna, excuse me, I'm gonna steal that idea, but I'm gonna make one using my own Ackworth Quaker sampler. So I'm gonna try to make it because I took Trish Newman's casket class. I've just been too scared to do anything about it, and there's also the time issue. So I like watching what Katie did because she used a really inexpensive box from Hobby Lobby, and she showed the detail of how to glue the paper and everything on there, and how to glue the fabric on. And I don't know why I didn't think about making a practice box, but I didn't. Yeah, Deb, so you've seen her too. And yes, inherited stitches. Those are the pretty scissors that Nicola has. And you can order them from lots of shops. We're not going to carry them because I think they're overpriced for what they are. They're beautiful scissors. But I know you can get them other places. And I have a hard time selling you anything that I don't feel like is worth what I'm charging you for it. And I can't get behind that one. I love them. I have a pair. I'm not saying not to buy them. Just I want you to know what you're buying. I want you to get value for it. We'll have lots of other things for you to buy from us. I am looking at some other scissors that I might show you next time if I can figure out where to get them that are kind of neat and cool. So we have lots of scissors, so there won't be a shortage there. But Katie, yeah, I mean, what an amazing young talent. I was totally impressed. I was like, whoa, Jackie wasn't kidding. Because she said, get a pillow for your head because you're going to want to stay up and watch. I was just, and she was not wrong. I mean, I was obsessed. I watched like 7 in a row, which for me is saying something. The gold plated Italian stork scissors. Yeah, those are nice. So, yeah, Ronnie, I agree with you. I think they're beautiful scissors. The Cajonas are just expensive for what they are. Um, so yeah, I'll put a link below for that. And she's one to watch. It may not be your thing, but it might be something different. And it's just something fun to watch. But I'm definitely going to take a leaf out of her book, and use what I learned in Trisha's class, and then also her tutorials, because I like the fact that I can see her do what she did, and I like that she talked about some of the mistakes and some of the things to watch out for. And I'm going to do AC Bluebird like that. So, of course I'm going to do one of my own. I love Jacob. Jacob and I've, worked together before and got some other things going on too. But, if I'm going to do something like that, I want to do one of my own. So I'm going to do AC Bluebird. Yes. I think it's Strachan. I think it's a CH. I might be wrong. I don't know. So the cotton candy, I think I actually ordered some of those too. And I don't know if I don't think this is the cotton candy, but I brought these down to show you too. These are another pair of just really inexpensive. These are super inexpensive. And they are very sharp, very thin little blade. They're like $3 or something crazy. And so I put these on the website too. I've had them for a while, but I just didn't have them on the website. I sold them in the shop, and I sold them at different, events and retreats that we did. But I really like these. And I don't know that they have a name, but you'll see them. There's 3 different colors of them, I think. So anytime you're ordering scissors from us with colors, when you go to checkout, you don't see it till you get to checkout. But when you go to checkout, there's a field for notes. Put your color preference in the notes. And then we'll try to do it for you if we have them. So I think I'm going to go to Hobby Lobby and buy me a wooden box and prep it, because prepping the box is a lot of the work. I already have, the paper and stuff, and I think I need to prep the box first and then do the stitching. And so I might, post some of that stuff too if you guys want to follow along with that. And I have not abandoned the learning stitches. I meant to get one of those done this weekend, and I just didn't. But so my helper, Angie Weaver, you guys keep her, if you do prayer, however you send good things out into the universe, keep her in mind, because she left for Africa, Malawi last week. First time going out of the country ever, to go spend about 3 weeks at an orphanage over there and help out. And so she went with two other women here and another person from her church. They sponsor a couple of orphans. And she, Sassy Jack sponsored part of her trip, not all of it. She needed a lot of money for that. And so we gave what we could. And we also gave money for them to buy a laptop for those guys to use over there. And so if you guys, uh, you know, send positive things out into the universe or prayer, um, then please do that for Miss Angie because she's not really a world traveler, and I'm sure it's quite a shock to her system. So, I bought her a little sleep sack. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever traveled where you stayed in a hostel. I did that one time in my 30s. Um, and you can buy these things that are like a sleeping bag, but they're just really a sheet set. They're sewn together though, and no matter where you sleep, you're sleeping in your own sheets. And so I bought her one of those and said, I know you haven't thought about this, but you should think about this. And I sent it with her. So bless her heart. I mean, she's got the kindest, sweetest spirit. If you've ever been to the shop, or if you've called and you've talked to her, or if you've gotten a package that looks like it was wrapped with just tons and tons of love in no hurry, that's Angie because she does everything she does with this positive spirit and with love. And if you get a package from me, I do wrap it with love, but I wrap it quick and try to get it done. Angie writes little notes on there and draws smiley faces, and she just sends a lot of love out into the universe. And so let's send her some while she's over there. I know she's going to need it. And she's pretty out of communication right now, so we can't really talk to her. But, we want to think about her and keep her going. She's doing a good thing over there, I think. Those little kiddos need her. It's weird. Something pops up onto my screen. Sometimes I have to minimize it. But Angie's a really sweet person, and you'll meet her when you get to the shop. Yeah. Yeah, if you're traveling, a sleep sack is a good thing. So, what else? I don't know. I've been talking a while. Did you guys have questions about anything going on? We are going to Expo, and we will be buying things from Expo. We're excited about that. We'll try to be conscious of what we're buying because we are going to have to move it. So, you know, but I'm excited about Expo. There's some great things coming out. And last year was a lot of fun. One of you guys asked me about Annabella's. It's actually pretty close. So Annabella's, I know they do online sales for cross stitch, but I looked them up and they do a lot of crafts. And what basically she said was they would be selling all kinds of stuff. And Susan, they're in your neighborhood, so they're moving into Waynesville somewhere. I didn't get a call from her or anything to let me know that they were coming in. But somebody did tell me about it, and I looked them up and checked them out. So it looks like they're going to have some cross stitch, and I know they do some online business. They're in Florida right now. But it also looks like they're selling a ton of other stuff. So a craft shop kind of thing. So I think they're going to be a little bit of a different vibe. They do a lot of retreats from what I understand, and they are doing a big retreat here at the end of the year, sometime in November. So hopefully we'll be open. For you guys out in that area, I'm glad you're getting a shop nearby. I know you're going to want to come and see me too, though, because we love each other. But, you'll have a place to run in and out of, and they'll have threads and stuff, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I didn't get a phone call or anything. Which when I moved here, I did reach out to all the people around me and talk to them because I think it's important to be collaborative. So I know that, I don't know when they're going to open. And I don't know where. I know it's in Waynesville. I know they live in Maggie Valley, and these are just things from her video. I know she knew about us because she mentioned us, but she said she didn't know the name of our shop, so I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, I think they'll do great in Waynesville. Waynesville needs it. We all need more shops. I don't think it's going to impact us very much, though. So, thank you, Susan. I love you for that. Because the first thing I thought of was Susan. I was like, I'm not going to see Susan anymore. And then I thought about it and I was like, but Susan will come see me. I'm sure she will. Just to visit anyway. So I think we'll be a different kind of vibe, which there's, we'll be fine. And it's good for you guys if you're going to travel it's kind of nice that you have shops that are, where you can hit, four or five within a couple hours. Johnson City is a good friend of mine, Sandra Jablonski. I love her. And she really welcomed me when I moved here and opened my shop. She's about 40 minutes away, just over the state line. That's a beautiful drive from here to go over to Johnson City and see her. There's Sandy's in Hendersonville, which is about 45 minutes in the other direction. If you drive a couple hours, you're down to Dixie Darling and Sevierville. Waynesville is about 45 minutes. So you've got choices. It's all good, all good. And I'm glad I'm not losing you, Susan. That would hurt my heart. That is honestly the first thing I thought about. I was like, I'm so glad Susan's going to have a shop right there because I would want one too, but I'm going to miss her. So I'm just so glad. Because you guys are friends, I mean, gosh, it's friends. It's not, I own my building, so we'll be there until I get tired of doing it or get too old or too broke down or whatever. I'm not dependent on, I don't know if I would keep doing it if nobody ever wanted to come. That would be kind of dumb, but in all likelihood, I probably would. I probably would sit downstairs in my shop and stitch for once. It would be fun. So anyway, I hope you guys come visit me. Even if you're just coming to visit, I hope you do. I think it'll be fun. But yeah, so that's the story on them. So I know they're doing a retreat here in November. I don't know anything about it. I know it's a big one. But that's it. And I don't know. Waynesville's a beautiful town. I know that. Susan, I did go over there and shop not too long ago. I walked through there and I really enjoyed it, Everett, and I did it on a Sunday a few weeks ago, and it was fun. Or maybe it was Saturday, I don't remember. There were some little girls in a new shop, and they were drawing pictures. It was an art gallery kind of shop. And when you walked in, there were two little girls, and they would draw you a picture, or you could buy one that they had already drawn for like $1. And one of them was drawing dragons. So I bought 2 dragon pictures. They're still upstairs. They're really cool, and they were so excited. And I gave them like, I don't know, $3 or something for it. But I thought that was neat. That was a neat thing to do. So they're out there learning about how to make a little business out of their artwork. And the dragons were pretty good. They're certainly better than anything I could draw. So that was fun. Well, I suppose I have rambled quite a lot tonight. Thank you guys for hanging with me. And thank you for coming back, even though I missed you a couple of weeks. It's totally my fault. But I'm glad you came back, and I enjoy this time. And I look forward to next week. How could you walk into Sassy Jack's and not come out without a bag? Not walk out without a bag. Well, I hope so. I hope so. I'm sure we'll all be fine. It'll be fun. But I will switch this over to Sundays, it sounds like. So if anybody has a problem with Sundays, a really big problem, send me a private message if you want to or something. I will get a lot of things posted down here in the description. It might be tomorrow. So all the stuff that I showed you, I'll get posted for you tomorrow. I'll get Susan's chart out, and I'll get the newsletter out with the classes. But the classes for the soiree are already posted online. So you can just go out there. You won't be able to see them if you're not signed up for the soiree. That's the key to that. So you have to be signed up for the soiree in order to be able to see them. But if you just search for Soiree, Soiree, they should pop up. If not, I think they will. I think they'll all pop up like that. But you can look for, Susan Greening Davis, Allie Dudley, and I don't know if I put my name on there, probably Kimberly Young. You can check that out. But I think they'll all pop up with Soiree, because I know people have been signing up already. And then we have a special kit, at least a design. I'm torn about whether or not to kit it. I'll see if I can get the materials, but at least it's already designed, a special design for you guys from us, and some other really neat, fun things in your soiree swag bag. So yes, you did sign up, Rhonda. You did. All right, got to get up at 5. I'm gonna let you go then. And you guys who signed in from other places in the world, from Ireland and Australia and Canada, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. It was good to be here, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. Remind you of the fabric and threads for Alan Usher. Oh, Candy, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting to do that. I used Mayflower, and I used Gloriana. I don't want to say the color because I think I've got another one stuck in my head and I'll say it wrong. But I have an email from you and a phone number, and I will call you tomorrow. and I will get you updated on that. So, um, I hope you guys all have a great week. I will see you next Sunday. Alrighty, bye. Thank you for joining us.